What's up, beautiful people? It's the 2026 planner season. And all of the manufacturers just threw all their planners out there on the streets on September 1st, and they said, come and get them. And so now everybody is flooding to the websites. They're running all around to different places so that they can all get the type of planner that they want. And so I'm going to talk today about the type of planners that I got. And I think you know what I always get. Well, you probably don't know what I always get, but I always get a Hobonichi. I've been getting a Hobonichi probably since 2017. Around that time, don't quote me on that. It might have been 2016, but that's the planner system that I use is Hobonichi. So I'm going to actually unbox this and I'm going to show you exactly what's inside of there. I'm very minimal this year with what I did. For the past 2 or 3 years, I was trying to experiment and play with things. I was buying a whole bunch of planners. Books were just piling up all over the place. I was using them, but I wasn't really using them the way I wanted to use them. And so I kind of settled myself down to what I want. Incidentally, I was asked to do this video because someone wanted to see me take like a trip down memory lane. Like, what were you using back in the past in like 1989? And so I'm going to go over what I was actually using in the past. And believe it or not, what I'm doing now, what works for me now, worked for me back then. I should have never even changed. But you know how you do. You see a fancy new book, and all of a sudden they tell you, oh, this paper is creamy. And so now you're like, oh, I got to try this paper. But really, you got to stick with what you normally do. So I'm back to doing what I do, and I'm going to explain that. And I'm going to start with showing you what I used to do back in the past when I first started. And what I'll put timestamps in there because some people don't really want to see it. But I'm rocking with Hobonichi this year. And I'm going to show you a couple of other things that I use. My exact system, the way I've been using it pretty much most of my life. So I'm going to go top down and we're going to check it out. And here it is. I started in 1988, although this one says 1998, and this is the exact type of planner that they had out there. These planners were given to us by American Express when you had the American Express card. So I got these for free. Now, this is just the one that was the large one that I used, but here is a look at the 2025 version. And so there's the large book and the small book. And in 1988, I started using that. Now, notice exactly what that looks like. That looks just like the Hobonichi cousin and the Hobonichi weeks. Who would have thought that I would actually have been using that system way, way back then, and then now use the exact same system? So that's what I'm rocking with right now. And this book was great. I mean, I loved using this book. I use them exactly the way that I use the books now. Very interestingly, is that even though there's a planner that has all of these things laid out for you in terms of the times, I didn't schedule that way. What I would do is I would just put events on here as they would happen, and then I would also just write notes on here as well. And when it came to the smaller weeks version, if you remember back then in those times, there was a part of our brain that we used, and that part of our brain had phone numbers in them. And so I used this one as a phone book. I also wrote notes in this book as well. So this was the system that I used back in 1998 and going forward. Now, there were some additional things that I used as well along with these two planner books, and I'm going to show you those now as well. That was the start of the planner life. Okay, so now we're going to advance ourselves just a few years past that. And what I will say is at that time, I was using ballpoint pens. I had went to a pen store. I had never even heard of a fountain pen at all, other than those quill pens that they used. I had never even heard of a fountain pen. And so all I did was I went in there and I just decided I was going to get a ballpoint pen. and ballpoint pens hurt my hands. I'm so glad I discovered fountain pens. But I got a cross pen. And that's the type of pen that I was using. Oh man, I used that cross pen forever, forever. And I don't use ballpoints now. I hear that the Japanese ballpoints are a lot cooler than the American ballpoints. And so I think I bought a few, but I haven't even cracked the box open yet. I love getting Happy Mail, but it takes me a long time to open up a box. I just always like I love getting the mail, but I hate opening up the mail, and then I especially hate having to coordinate to sit down and review it. You know, my whole camera setup here is I don't even really like it the way it is, and I don't know. We'll see what I'm going to do in the future, but I'm going to tell you what happened to me since 1988. So 1988, I was working, and then I had got laid off. I had a city job, and then I went to school for computer programming and came out, and then I got another job. I was doing computer programming, but I'm really not a job person. And at that time, I had lost that job, and I says, I'm going to just open up a small business. And I decided I was going to do a computer consulting business because I knew how to code, I knew how to build computers, and it's pretty much natural born salesperson. Anyway, I did that. So, along with the American Express large planner and the kind of like weeks type planner, I had a notebook. And it was just like this. It wasn't spiral at the top, and it certainly wasn't this. It wasn't landscape, so it was exactly this way, and it was one of those. You know, it's one of those notebooks where you flip the pages over, and I forget what those notebooks are called. I think I have one, but for this demonstration, I couldn't find it, and I just said forget it. So I would pop the thing open, and along with the planning that I would do, I would actually use this notebook daily. And so in my business, I would keep this would basically be my books because this was around the time that computers were pretty much new. A computer was a lot of money. Software was just an ungodly price. And so most of the time you wrote stuff. So one of the things that I would always do in my notebooks is I would go through the entire notebook and I would stamp the page with a number. So I had to have a number because if I was ever audited by the IRS, this would serve as a legal document of my books. And so they would accept it. And so there had to be a number on the bottom. I don't know where I put the date now that I think about it. I don't know if it was here. I don't know if it was here or if it was over here. I'm not really too sure, but the date, of course, was at the top. And then I just got right into it. So, what was I doing? I had to pay my rent. I had to pay for my phone. I had to pay for my blah, blah, blah. Whatever I was doing, I wrote all of that right over here. And then I just put, numbers inside of there and how much it was going to cost and everything like that. Over here, I had my bank account information. And so on this side, I had pretty much no money at the time because I was starting a new business, but I was rocking and rolling. So this was my books right here that I had. And then what I would do in this space right here is I would put all of my notes for the day. And if the notes carried over, I would just flip the page over and I would put the notes on the next page. Now, I never used this side of the paper ever. It just was not going to happen. It was always this side of the paper only. And this is how I did everything. So everything that I needed to do that day, I wrote down here. Everything I did that day, I wrote down here. And I kept these notebooks for a long time. I kept these notebooks for well over 10, 15 years because I had in my mind that if you ever get audited, the IRS can go back to your birth date and get all this information. And so I was misled by that. But that was just the way that it was back then in those days. Remember, this is the late 80s and this is the 90s. And so this is what I did. Now, I left all that for a long period of time. Um, Computers came along and we were doing a whole lot of planning and everything on computers. And I was using pocket devices and everything like that. So we're just going to fast forward to now. And I actually forget when I got into the Hobonichis. It must have been 2016 or 2017, something like that. I'll have to go and figure it out. But I got back into using paper because using computers was kind of whack for me. And so I decided, let me go back to papers. And so what I did was I got myself a Hobonichi. And I got the Hobonichi cousin. And this is what I was doing with it. Now, this is not a cousin. This is this year's Hobonichi, but I would keep track of things that I need. Now, I didn't put my finances on here anymore because my finances are on a spreadsheet, but I would just keep track of the things that I needed. So for instance, now I keep track of my weight. I keep track of my blood pressure because I got the high blood pressure. I'm out here in Vegas, and so I need to know the sunrise and the sunset times because that's going to help me out when I am looking to leave the house to go for a walk. So I come back here and I just start checking. Oh man, when's the sun going down? Plus I suffer from depression seasonally and all that nonsense. So I need to know what's going on with that. Sometimes I will write down what I'm eating, but for the most part, I'll just write down things that's going on. And this is what I use this Hobonichi for. Now, this is for Dag because Dag is trying to figure out what she's going to get. But this is it, Dag, right here. These daily pages are wonderful. These are the most awesome things because you just put down what you're doing. Now, of course, you don't have that much space. So there is something else that I use. But this right here is what I do just for each day. Now, I use this as well. I use this, the annual, and I use it as a table of contents. Not context, a table of contents. So you'll notice that I have in here anything that is really important that I want to be able to flip back to. That's what I use the annual pages for. Now I'll pull out something else because I don't have this one. This year I didn't do it because I had another book I was using, but I was doing this year, and I was doing this the year before that. I had a daily scripture that I would write out inside of the monthly. What is this? A monthly? Because I don't really use the monthly for anything. So I would put that in there. Now I'm putting some Japanese words in there because I'm studying Japanese. And so on the weekly, that's what I would do. I would have a daily word that I would write information out on. Now, in this case, I would write the word. I was learning the etymology of words, why they're used and things like that. And I was also translating them into Japanese. So this was just kind of like a little bit of a project that I was doing. And again, this year I got away from it. The reason why I got away from it this year is because I had too many books and I was doing too much. My job was super duper busy. I have a lot. I mean, pretty much I do writing all day long. And I had to really pick it up on some things that I was doing, a lot of projects. You know how it is when you start doing more at your corporation. But anyway, this is what I was doing a year ago. And so I got myself into that. So I always get the Hobonichi cousin, but now I get the Hobonichi Han. And that's what I use now. And I can actually go back because of the fact that I have the annual table of contents. Any pages that I don't use, I always go back to those pages and put stuff in there. Especially if it's my Japanese learning book, I always go back and do that. So that's what I'm doing right now with my planning system with the Hobonichi. Now, what I do as well with that, so keep in mind, I have a home and I have a weeks. And this year I bought a weeks mega because I just said, oh, it's going to be some extra pages. So blah, 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 blah. And then I have a notebook that I use all the time. And this is a notebook that I like. Listallion. This is my baby. And I use this for everything. And I'm going to quickly flip through this because I can't really show you what's in here because this has everything in here. And I have some work stuff. And if I show you the work stuff, might be some proprietary information. So I'm going to have to be careful. But they have this charm. Well, they have these bookmarks that are really, really solid. Now, I hate bookmarks, but the reason why I hate bookmarks that I learned is that because they don't have something like this on them. So it's just two little things hanging down. So from now on, if I have a book and it has bookmarks, I always put something like this on the end of them because this is great. And the fact that they've got two, oh man, I use these like a dream. But here's what really makes this type of book great for me and why I always use this book. There's others, but I like this one, table of contents. So as you can see, I fill out the table of contents because there are things that are here, whether it's personal stuff, whether it's work stuff. There's things that are in here that I have to go back to, and I need to go back to them and find them really quick. So for instance, and then also you'll see, I'm going to take you to page 69 because action plan. This is a little bit of work stuff, but I don't think this is anything that's going to. So I was looking for a rocking chair, or at least I was trying to price out rocking chairs. So this is something that I wrote on this particular day. Noticed how in the Stallion they have pages that are numbered. This is it. This is all I need. So I do my date up here. I try to write in Japanese for most things, but there's no way I can do that. There's no way I can write in Japanese for most things. Boy, I'm really taking a risk here by doing this, but here we go. And so each page has a date on it. It has a number on it. So I go through all of this and I use that as well. So that's what I use currently. And I use it in this thing right here. Now, if you look on my channel, you'll notice that there is a review of this. So this is the hand stitched leather tee. I bought this several years ago, and this I've used every single day since I've gotten it. This is what I use. Now, this notebook is the same as the Stallion, but it's not the Stallion. It has the numbers here on the bottom. And this paper is this paper is not as thick as the Stallion paper. I think the Stallion is like 120 GSM. But here's what I don't like about this book. I'm going to try to hide the company name. No table of contents. So I had to make my own up. And also this paper feels real waxy. So I can't actually write nicely on it with all of my pens. You know, there's some pens that'll start slip sliding on here. But I had started it and it's a lot of pages and I just didn't want to, oops, I showed the name. I didn't want to throw this book out because it's a lot of pages. But this book is certified whack for me. Anyway, the hand stitched leather tee. I love this book. I mean, I love this little joint right here. It's getting a lot of good views. Okay, so that is what I have for you there in terms of what I use. I know this video was getting a little bit long, but it's not that long. Okay, so you know what we're going to do now? This is what we're going to do now. We're going to get to this unboxing. Yep. Let's just go ahead on and do it. Oh, actually, you know what? Before I unbox, let me show you one other thing that I use because this I love right here. Boom! So this is the other thing that I use, and this is a traveler's notebook. So I got this one from thank you Mitts from My Life Mitts on here. She has a stationary selection store. This is the Hoshini Resort. She gave me this one as a gift, and I love it. And so I carry this with me everywhere as well. Kind of decked it out with some little, whatevers. And this is a nice little traveler's notebook because it's a big one. So, the normal traveler's notebooks are very, very tiny. They've only got a certain number of pages. But everywhere I go, when I travel and when I'm doing events out here, I put everything inside of this notebook. So I had to go get my mom from New York. So I started with my Albany trip, Albany, New York. I had to go pick her up and bring her out to Vegas because she was stalling. She didn't want to come out here and see me, so I had to go kidnap her. But at any rate, all of the things that I do when I go on trips, when I go places, is pretty much a travel notebook here. And so I have all my stuff in there. So I just wanted to show y'all that. So this one is always with me as well. It's somewhere hanging out. And I'm gonna put that on the side. Okay, here's the box. Here's the box. I don't think this thing is gonna fit in this frame here, but this is the Hobonichi box. I'm gonna open it and let me just pour everything out for you. Let's get this thing right here. So I got the big box, and then it looks like they put the small box in the big box. Now, I'm going to tell you something right now. I done forgot what I ordered. I got this sheet over here. I don't remember what I ordered. I know I ordered 2 books, but that's all I know. So this is going to be kind of like, let's figure it out together. Let's see what this is. Okay. Man, this is going to be whack. I'm going to tell you that right now. This is going to be whack because I don't even remember what these things are. Let me see if I can find them on this sheet. So I know these are pens. These pens are pens that you use every single month, right? That's what these are. These are like these monthly pens that you use every single month. And so it's like a different color, and I think the colors match the tab. That's what this is. Right? So here you go. Oh yeah, they got the Hobonichi Techo on there. They got the month. Mm-hmm. All right. Y'all like uni balls? So let's see what this does. Yeah, I kind of, it's a little scratchy for me. Oh man, it's a little scratchy for me. Okay, that's a little bit better, but I don't know. I'm not sure about that. But anyway, those are the pens that they have for each month. Now let me go and open up this box right here so you can see what this is. Now, for those of you that don't like all that crinkle stuff, I apologize. But when I watch videos of people opening things, I love the crinkle. That's the stuff that puts me to sleep. Okay, yeah, so this is like a card set that has a whole bunch of tabs on it there for you. So what I did was I purchased my books, and then I purchased these like add-on things for the books because I thought that they looked really nice and I can use them this year and kind of decorate my books so that they're not always just so pen and paperish, especially since my handwriting is so bad. I wanted to deflect from the bad handwriting and have some nice little stuff on there. And I'm trying to learn how to, jazz up my books because I'm not really good at that. But anyway, in here is some more of that stuff. Every year I break my box. Every year I break my box. Let's do some reading. Doi. Okay, we don't know. What kind of person do you like? Do you want to be like them? I think you are like that, even if it's just a little bit. I don't know what that means. Okay. Give me a second to get all this stuff out. Now, I know this is going to be a little bit of hodgepodge. I know a lot of people like to see everything that you pull out, but you know what? Ugh, I don't know. I don't know. I'm not really like that myself. I just like to just get it out and just get it going. Okay, so when you place your order, you get a couple of free things. And I think this year they're giving out this robot. So I love the free stuff. So I always order directly from Hobonichi. In fact, I ordered on September 1st, right away, as soon as 7 o'clock hit our time. Well, my time where I am, man, I was on the site rocking. You love you. I think that's a mistake because I don't understand what you love you means. But anyway, there's the Hobonichi symbol. Okay, so they give out a rocket, and then of course you get these pens. Like I said, I purchased the Weeks Mega. Let's check out this paper. Now, I don't know if they're still using the old paper. I don't remember what they said about that, but I know that they were supposed to be using some of the old paper. Old paper, new paper. Quite frankly, I don't really care. Let's just see how this writes. So I want to see. Okay, you know what? There's a little bit of ghosting. I don't see no bleed through. Do y'all see any bleed through? Um, hmm. Hmm. Let's see. Okay. All right. We're looking good. Well, anyway, that was the test. And of course, this ink is very, very wet. So this is the Weeks Mega. And for those of you that might just be seeing this for the first time, inside of the Weeks Mega, you start with your um your annual dates here, 2026, 2025, and 2027. And then after you've done that, you get your table of contents. Now, this is very, very tiny, so it's going to be very hard to write in here. But I do use this as well because I use like a little code for what happens on the page that I'm looking at. And then, of course, we go into the monthly views. And so, of course, this is in Japanese. Everything I do, I'm trying to make it Japanese because I'm trying to learn. If you know Japanese, please correct me in the comments when I say something that is so wrong and egregious that you're smacking your forehead and wondering why I don't just stop, because I will appreciate that. And so we go all the way through to December. And then now we get into the weeklies, which is right here. So now there's a weekly. And what I'm actually going to do in the weeklies is, if you remember, I had my statistics that I did in the home. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to move them here. I printed off a little sticker that's about that big. So let's see. We're going to put down the weather. We're going to put down my weight. We're going to put down my pressure. And we're going to put down the sunrise and sunset times right there. And so I'm going to have one for each of these days. And I think I'm going to put them, am I going to put them here? I don't know exactly where I'm going to put them, but I'm going to put them on one of these two slots right there. And then the other slot I'm going to use for the other things that I write during that day. And I probably will put them over here because there are going to be days I don't have anything to write and I'm going to need more space. So that's probably what I'm going to do. So here are the weeklies for the entire year. And then the weeklies just kind of okey doke on into this 365-day thing that people use that I don't use it at all. This is not useful, but these are obviously useful because these are just a bunch of pages that you get. And so I'm going to need these pages to write things down on. And if you notice, these pages are numbered. And so I can go back to my table of contents here. I mean, look at how sweet this is. This is beautiful. And just boom, I can use these numbers instead of using these. I can use these numbers and then just kind of figgy jig something together. Notice how I'm going to have to put some type of charm on this because I don't like those. And then we go to the back here. And in the back, I'm not even going to go through this stuff because a lot of people go through these things. And I'm just not going to waste the time on it. You'll be watching other videos on this. I don't want to make this video too long. But anyway, that is the week's mega. Now let's get into the actual home. Let's take a quick peek at the home. I got the little house. I wasn't really sure exactly which home I was gonna get because I really didn't like the cover styles this year. There was not one cover style that I actually thought was gonna be good, and so I just kind of settled on this one. And I really don't. I mean, it's gonna go inside of a cover. In fact, right now this is the cover that I'm using. So this is the one that it's gonna go inside of. But here it is. If you choose not to and you want to make it look like you're carrying a book around, blah, blah, blah. There you go. All right. So again, you got your annual calendars. You got your spread annually, which is pretty much a table of contents. You got your weekly spread. You got your daily spread. And then this is what I love right here. You just got pages and pages and pages of stuff that you can write on. And in my little stash of stuff, there are tabs that go on these months. You also get this writing board along with it. So keep that in mind. Sorry for the glare. I just caught that. And what's this? What is this? Oh, this is something about Virginia Lee Burton. Okay. Since I'm doing this real quick, I'm not going to go all into that kind of stuff. This is washi. We all know what that is, don't we? Oh, check this out. I bought these super duper overpriced postcards because I like them. And I'm going to have to like really, really be careful who I send these to because like I said, these were super duper overpriced. It's like really not even worth buying, but I had to have them because I just love the artistic. I love the artistic work. Maybe not that one, but these two, I really love them. Of course, I love this one the most. So I can't just be willy-nilly sending these out, but I bought a set of these. I'm not sure exactly how many I bought, but I bought a set of these. These are postcards. Probably send those to family. See what that does. Okay. And why did I get this? I didn't buy this. I did not buy this. There's no way I bought this stuff. I bought party stickers. I've already got these. Why did I buy these again? Oh, this is crazy. This was not smart, Rob. I've got these already. You know what? I think that was a mistake. I didn't check my card properly. And you got the Moomin pencil boards. I need to get new pencil boards each year because I do kind of pound into mine. So I got those pencil boards. And then here's a lot of the things that you would put inside of your planner here. So you see sticky notes go in there. I hope these are sticky. You got the translucent sticky notes. You've got the frames. You've got a sticker set. And then you've got these add-on sticky notes. So these are all the things that are going to go inside of your planner. And I think that's about all that I have in here. Oh, here's the index stickers. And that's what's in the box. So this is what I'm doing this year. I am using the home. I am using the week's mega. And every year I always wait until the first of the year to start writing in these books. I'm not even doing that this year. I'm through with it. I'm just going and just getting here as soon as I'm ready to get in here and just start writing stuff down and start putting stuff in it because I just don't care anymore. I mean, if I need some of these pages, I'm just going to use some of these pages for some stuff. But you know what? I need some help with this. I got to figure out how I'm going to do this. You know what? As I'm thinking about it, I can't really do this because this is only 30 days. I don't know if I'm going to be able to use this. I'm gonna have to come up with some other way of doing this because I like blank paper to write on. Anyway, that's it. That's all I got for you. I appreciate you watching. If you like this content, I'm going to be making more content. I'm back making videos. I've been making videos all along, but they weren't really YouTube videos. But I've been making videos and I've been doing reviews of stuff. So I'm going to just start piling some stuff on this channel here. So I really do need suggestions because I'm going to do planning stuff. I'm going to do fountain pens because I'm heavily into fountain pens. I just haven't done any videos on them recently. I review a lot of products. I might throw some products up there, and I'm also studying Japanese. So I might throw a little bit of Japanese up here. But what would you like to see from me, especially if you know me? What would you like to see me do? I'd love to get some ideas. But anyway, I'm going to end it. Thanks for watching.